Okay, Lovey Lulus. When we left off, Alex and his team had come in from the outfield, and unfortunately, everyone that was supposed to bat had stomach issues or were hyperventilating, so it was Alex's turn. Okay, my legs felt like rubber, but somehow I managed to put on a batting helmet and head in the direction of the batter's box. In the stands, Fred and Ethel were cheering. On the sidelines, the camera was still rolling, and on the mound, TJ Stoner was grinning his head off. This was easily the most terrifying moment of my life. There was no escape. None. No joke would save me now. I stepped up to the plate. As I did, TJ Stoner turned and hollered to the rest of his team, "Easy out, easy out." Wait, I want to stop right there. I think if you remember, on the chart paper, one of the things we wrote down for TJ Stoner, a character trait was that he was like a poor sport. Perfect text example there. Saying easy out, easy out. In unison, the entire infield took 4 giant steps in. I swear it was almost like they had rehearsed it. "Get ready for a bunt," yelled TJ again. Great. Perfect. "Give my strategy away, why don't you?" I muttered. But I didn't have a choice. It was either bunt the ball or not connect at all. TJ threw his first pitch. "Strike one," shouted the umpire. I turned and looked at him. "Why do umpires always yell strike so loud, do you think?" I asked. "Whenever it's a ball, you guys practically whisper, but as soon as you see a strike, you belt it out for the whole world to hear. Why is that?" The umpire told me to watch myself, pal. I turned and got ready for the next pitch. I had already made up my mind. I wasn't going to just stand there and let another ball go by. If I was going to strike out, I was going to do it swinging, or in my case, bunting. TJ wound up and threw again. I stuck out my bat and got ready. As the ball whizzed over the plate, I bunted it sharply down the first base line. I took off running. I couldn't believe it. I had actually made contact with a TJ Stoner pitch. Now, if only I could get on base. If I could get on base, all my problems would be over. I'd be a hero, and no one could be mad at a hero, not even my coach. The first baseman ran like crazy to get the ball. Meanwhile, TJ sped over to cover first. My teammates were screaming their lungs out. I just had to make it. The first baseman picked up the ball and got ready to make the toss. I was almost there. Just 3 more steps to go. The toss came. TJ reached out his glove for the catch. He had to miss it. He just had to. I flung my arms all around. "Booga booga!" I screamed in his face. "Booga booga!" TJ looked shocked. For just an instant, he took his eye off the ball. And that's all it took. It shot right past him and rolled out into the outfield. I was safe at first. But wait, the coach was waving me on. As the right fielder scrambled for the ball, I headed for second. "Legs don't fail me now," I yelled as I hit full speed. I didn't look back until I was safely on the bag. The crowd in the stands went totally nuts. Fran and Ethel practically ran onto the field. This was the proudest moment of my life. "I did it! I did it!" I screamed. "I made it to second base! Me, Alex Frankovich! I'm on second base!" The second baseman told me to shut up. But no one could ruin this moment for me. Not the second baseman, not TJ Stoner, not anyone. I was waving my cap to the crowd when I first saw TJ's coach. He ran onto the field and he began yelling at the umpire. Then the next thing I knew, my coach was out there too. I had no idea what they could be arguing about. The play had been simple. I had bunted, TJ had missed it, and I had ended up on second. I still couldn't believe it. Wow. I started jumping up and down on the bag. Suddenly I saw the umpire walking toward me. He did not look happy. "Okay, Alex, don't panic. Maybe he's not really coming to second base at all. Maybe during all the excitement, someone threw toilet toilet paper streamers onto the outfield, and the umpire was walking out there just to clean them up. But a few seconds later, the umpire stopped right next to me. Then he leaned right down into my face and screamed, "You're out!" My mouth fell wide open. Out? How could I be out? I bunted. "You interfered with the play at first base," he said. I did not. I didn't even touch TJ. "You put your hands in his face and shouted, 'Booga booga,'" said the umpire. "I call that interference, not to mention unsportsmanlike conduct." Just then, my coach ran up behind the umpire and he handed him a rule book. "Show me," he demanded. "Show me where in the rule book it says you can't say booga booga. Where is it, huh? On what page do I find the no booga booga rule?" I don't know why, but all of a sudden, this whole conversation sounded unbelievably funny to me. I started to chuckle. The umpire told me to get off the field. I looked up at him and I grinned. "Booga," I said softly. The man looked at me like I was nuts. And who knows? Maybe I was. I said, "Get off the field, kid," he repeated. I took his hand and I shook it, very sportsmanlike. "Booga booga," I said again. Then slowly, I began trotting off the field toward the bench. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see TJ. He was laughing his head off. Instantly, I changed direction. Now, instead of running off the field, I began running straight toward TJ. If he wanted to laugh, I might as well give him something even more to laugh about. When I got to the mound, I lifted his arm up and I started tickling him. "Want to laugh, TJ? This'll make you laugh. Tickle, tickle, doo, tickle, 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 doo," I said. TJ swatted at me with his cap. "Quit it, Alex. Knock it off. Everyone's watching." For the first time in his life, he looked embarrassed. Truly humiliated, I mean. It was great. Almost as great as getting to second base. It didn't last long, though. The umpire had started to come after me again, so I decided it was definitely time to split. I gave TJ a final tickle, 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 tickle. Then I ran right off the field and out the gate. I didn't slow down until I was home in my own room. I locked the door behind me and I collapsed onto the floor. I had a feeling I wouldn't be coming out for a long, long time. And that's the end of chapter 10. Bow, bow, bow. See you next time for chapter 11.